Hi there and welcome back. So this is part 17 of level 1 of music production with Ableton Live. Again, we're continuing with the same project we left off in part 17. So we're just going to have a look in this one, sort of a little bit of housekeeping and organisation. Not exciting stuff, but important stuff to think about all the same. If you've got a big project like this, you want to get into the habit of kind of colour coding and naming your clips and also naming your scenes. And there's some cool little tips and tricks we can do with our naming as well. So first thing, let's name our track. So this one does, it's obvious it's Kit 808 Classic. It's a bit lengthy, that. So we'll rename that just as 808. Two ways to rename it. You can right click, choose rename, or the easiest way is just highlight the track, Control R, and then I'm just going to call that one 808, and we'll call this one Perk Loop, short for percussion loop. Now, depending on how long your names are and how long you want your tracks to be, scrolling around, you can drag these out. So if you've got a long name and you want to be able to see all of them, then you've got that facility to do that. Just because I'm a little bit OCD, I'm going to make sure that my top colour, which is this purple here, my clips, I want to be the same colour as the track. You don't have to, but it's just me. Okay. So we can color code the names. We can name the clips as well. So we could have this first one. We could kind of call that one, if we just called that intro. Hold on. I think then, did we bring the clap in? Can't remember. Yeah. So what I would do for that one, I would rename that as clap in. Again, it's entirely up to you what you name them as. Clearly I can't type. Let's try again. What did we do in the third scene? Okay, so we brought the snare in on that one. That one's the same, I think, and then we've got like full groove. So it's just so you know where you're at with stuff, and I would just probably tidy this up and just rename it same as the track, like Perk Loop. I was going to duplicate that over the top of there. Okay, so you can name your clips accordingly, and your stuff up here. So like I say, if you've got like a song with hundreds of clips and loads of tracks, it's a good habit to get into so you can see where you're at with stuff. We can also rename our scenes over here. So what I might do is call this kind of section intro. So let's rename that as intro. And what I might do is sort of color code that as well. So if we made that one like orange, I could rename these as well, same as the clips here, but this is kind of all part of my intro. I mean, I could put intro, intro 1, intro 2. I'm going to keep it simple for now. So let's say when the percussion loop comes in, that's our kind of verse. So I'm going to rename that as a verse. Again, I can't flip in type today. Let's try that again. And what I would do then is probably color that different color as well. So I can kind of see the sections of my song, because the verse might have like 3 or 4 sections down here where it builds up. Again, I could put verse part A, verse part B, or whatever. It's entirely up to you. So I can, there's my first section and second section, which makes it a lot easier to kind of think about how we are going to launch all our stuff. Again, this is all down to personal preference, but it is worth getting into the habit of doing all this stuff. Another useful function on the scene is we can actually, if we want to change the tempo of our song, unlikely in a kind of normal dance scenario, one track dance electronic music, you would want to change your tempo halfway through, but very useful if you're doing a full live set and you don't want to have to fiddle about with different tempo changes up here with your songs, or if you're using Ableton Live for DJing, what you can do is automatically change the tempo of the track. So let's pretend this is like song 1 and this is song 2. So we're starting off at 126 beats per minute. Let's say song 2, which would start here, we want it to change to well, let's go really fast so we can hear the difference. Let's say we want it to go to 150 beats per minute. So a couple of ways we can do that. If we right click, obviously we've got the rename function here. We can also here edit the launch tempo. We can also edit the time signature, but I'm not going to get into that for now. So if we edit the launch tempo, what it gives is it keeps the names we had before, and then we have a number followed by BPM. So whenever you put anywhere in the name a number followed by BPM, it will read that as like an automation instruction, and it will change the BPM. So if I just type in 150 there, okay, when I now launch this clip, what you can see is what happens is when there's a tempo change, this turns orange. Okay, our launch clip button will turn orange. So now when I launch that one, okay, you can hear it's gone a lot faster, and if you look up at the tempo here, you can see it's gone to 150. Now, if I go back to my intro, okay, it's not going to change it back because it's not had another instruction to change that. So if you wanted to make sure that all your songs are the correct tempo, you would need to put them all in. So if I rename this one, I'll just show you the other way of doing it, is if you just rename it, and it can be anywhere. It doesn't have to be at the beginning or the end of the name. It's anywhere as long as it's a number followed by BPM. So if we put this at the beginning, 126 BPM, and then intro, you don't need the semicolon or whatever it has in here. It will do it automatically. Okay, so if you look at the tempo now, it's changed to 126. Anything below that's going to change, stay at the same tempo, I should say. Okay, and then when we go into our next, let's say our next song is here. Okay, and we get that instant change in the tempo and the BPM. So it's a useful feature, particularly if you're using this, like as I said earlier, for DJing or for playing live. And again, in the same way that we can make these longer, we can make our tracks. So just get rid of the reverb and delay things. We don't need them. We can make this master track longer as well. So if you've got a long thing in here you want to see, you can stretch it out to be able to read everything in there. Okay, so again, just useful little tips and tricks just for organisation, really, just to make life a little bit easier if you've got quite a complicated and a big set and a track. So that's pretty much it for this one. What we'll have a look in the next lesson is a little bit more on editing our scenes. So thanks for watching. If you've got any questions or comments, usual things, stick them in the box below. Please like, subscribe if you haven't already subscribed, so you get all the future updates, and check my music out on Spotify. If you like electronic-y, acidy, ambient-y stuff, then Spotify, Deezer, iTunes, Apple Music, all over the place, and it all helps me keep all this going. Okay, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.